You may feel unseen, unheard, or misunderstood, but hear this first. God sees you, not just the version you show the world, but the real you. He sees your heart, your late-night thoughts, your dreams you barely dare to speak out loud, and the struggles you hide from everyone else. Even when you feel distant, even when faith feels quiet, His love has never wavered. It is deep, unconditional, and beyond anything you could ever earn or lose. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to be stronger. You don't have to have it all together. God is with you right now, speaking gently, patiently, like a loving father who knows your name and your story. In moments of doubt, fear, or exhaustion, remember this truth. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And you are deeply loved, exactly as you are. Life can feel heavy when your mind is filled with questions about the future, plans that feel uncertain, paths that are unclear, and outcomes you cannot control. The weight of what if and what's next can slowly drain your peace until even today feels hard to breathe through. But hear this truth clearly. You were never created to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. God knows how easily worry creeps in. He sees the pressure you put on yourself to have everything figured out, to be strong enough, prepared enough, and ready for every possible outcome. Yet He gently reminds you that tomorrow is not your responsibility. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Your calling is not to live ahead of time, but to live faithfully in the moment you've been given, right here, right now. You have enough strength for today, enough grace for this step, enough courage for this moment, and when tomorrow comes, God will meet you there too. He does not rush you, and He does not abandon you halfway through the journey. Trusting God does not mean pretending life is easy. It means choosing to release what you cannot control and resting in the one who can. When you slow down, breathe, and place your confidence in Him, you discover that you are never walking alone. God walks with you step by step, moment by moment, into whatever comes next. You are held, you are guided, and you are never alone. Seeking God's kingdom is not about escaping the world. It is about choosing what truly matters within it. It begins with a quiet but powerful decision to center your heart on what is good, what is true, and what is right. It means paying attention to the things that shape your soul, your relationships, your character, and the purpose behind the life you are living. The world is loud. It constantly pulls for your attention, urging you to chase success, recognition, influence, and wealth. It promises happiness if you achieve more, earn more, or become more. But these things, though not evil on their own, were never meant to sit at the center of your heart. When they do, they leave you restless, always striving, never satisfied. God invites you to a different way of living. When you place Him first, not just in words but in priorities, everything begins to realign. Peace replaces pressure, joy grows deeper than circumstances, purpose becomes clearer, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Seeking God's kingdom means choosing integrity when shortcuts seem easier. It means valuing people over outcomes and faithfulness over applause. It is a daily practice of returning your focus to God again and again when distractions try to pull you away. True peace and lasting joy are not found in what you accumulate or achieve. They are found in who you seek first. When God comes first, everything else finds its proper place. Your mind can be a noisy place. Thoughts rush in without warning, worries about what might happen, fears about what could go wrong, questions with no immediate answers. In the middle of all that noise, God does not shout to compete for your attention. Instead, He offers something far greater, true peace, a peace that is not earned, not forced, and not fought for, but freely given. This peace does not depend on your circumstances being calm. It exists even when life feels uncertain, even when your heart feels restless. When anxiety begins to rise and fear tries to take hold, remember this truth. God is with you, not only when you feel strong, but especially when you feel vulnerable and unsure. Fear may knock at your door, it always does, but it does not belong to you. Fear is not your inheritance. You were not created to live in constant worry or doubt. What has been given to you instead is faith, the ability to trust even when you cannot see the outcome. Courage, the strength to move forward despite uncertainty. And peace, a deep, steady assurance that you are held and protected. God's peace invites you to slow down, to breathe, and to release the need to control everything. You do not have to carry every burden alone. You do not have to have every answer. Let His presence quiet your thoughts. Let His peace guard your heart. In Him, you are safe. In Him, you are never alone. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It can feel like something we do for the sake of others, an act that excuses pain or overlooks injustice. But forgiveness is not about denying what hurt you. It is about freeing your own heart. When you hold on to anger, resentment, or bitterness, the weight does not fall on the other person. It settles quietly within you, draining your peace and stealing your strength. God understands how difficult forgiveness can be. He knows that some wounds run deep, that some words and actions leave scars that time alone does not heal. Yet He lovingly invites you to release what you have been carrying, not because the pain didn't matter, but because you matter. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending the hurt never happened. It means choosing to let go of the burden that was never meant for you to carry. When you forgive, you place the weight of justice, healing, and restoration into God's hands, where it belongs. God asks you to forgive as He has forgiven you, again and again, without condition. His forgiveness did not wait for perfection. It flowed from love. And when you follow His example, something powerful happens. The tight grip of anger loosens. The heaviness in your soul begins to lift. Space is made for peace, healing, and renewal. Forgiveness is a journey, sometimes taken one small step at a time. But each step toward letting go brings you closer to freedom. And in that freedom, your heart can finally rest. You were never created to carry life on your own. From the very beginning, you were designed for connection, for companionship with God, especially in moments when strength feels distant and hope feels thin. When you feel exhausted, when doubts begin to cloud your thoughts, or when your heart feels empty despite your efforts, hear this invitation clearly. Come to God and find rest. Rest does not mean escape or giving up. It means laying down what you can no longer hold. God does not ask you to arrive with answers, confidence, or perfect faith. He simply asks you to come as you are, tired, uncertain, and honest. In His presence, you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. God's love is not fragile or conditional. It does not rise and fall with your performance, your productivity, or your spiritual consistency. His love is constant, steady, unshaken. Whether you feel close to Him or far away, His heart toward you remains the same. When the world demands more than you can give, God offers rest instead of pressure. When you feel like you have nothing left, He becomes your strength. He meets you not with disappointment, but with compassion. You do not have to prove your worth or explain your weariness. Let God carry what you cannot. Let His presence restore what has been drained. In Him you are safe. In Him you are supported. And in His love you will always find a place to rest. There will be moments in life when the path ahead feels unclear, when you do not know what decision to make, where to turn, or how to move forward. In those moments, God does not expect you to figure everything out on your own. Instead, He invites you to ask. Ask honestly. Ask openly. Bring Him your questions, your hopes, and your deepest needs. You do not have to filter your words or hide your uncertainty. God listens with patience and care. Every prayer, whether spoken boldly or whispered through doubt, is heard. Even when His answer does not come immediately, silence is not absence. God is always at work, even when you cannot see it. His responses often arrive in ways you do not expect. Through quiet clarity, through wise counsel, through circumstances slowly aligning, or through peace that settles in your heart before the situation changes. God's timing is not rushed, but it is never careless. His ways are higher than yours, guided by love and wisdom you may not yet understand. Trusting God means believing that even delays have purpose, even detours have meaning, even unanswered prayers are being woven into something greater. He is working behind the scenes, shaping outcomes for your good, even when the process feels uncertain. When you feel lost, return to this simple truth. You are not walking alone. Keep asking, keep trusting. God is listening, and in His perfect time, He will lead you forward. It is easy to look at others and measure your life against theirs, to compare progress, success, faith, or purpose. But the truth is simple and freeing. Everyone's journey is different. You were not created to copy someone else's path. You were created to be uniquely you, designed with intention, meaning, and value that cannot be replaced. Comparison quietly steals joy. It shifts your focus away from growth and toward judgment of others and of yourself. God invites you to step out of that cycle. Instead of comparing, choose to encourage. Instead of judging, choose to uplift. When you see others through eyes of love, you begin to recognize that every story carries unseen struggles and quiet victories. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself or diminishing your worth. True humility is seeing yourself honestly, acknowledging both your strengths and your limitations, while recognizing the same dignity in others. You are loved, cherished, and valuable, not because you outperform someone else, but because you are who you are. When you stop trying to prove yourself, your heart becomes lighter. You no longer need to compete for validation or approval. You are free to celebrate others without feeling diminished and to grow without feeling rushed. God calls you to walk your own path faithfully. As you do, let kindness guide your words, grace shape your thoughts, and love define how you see those around you. In that space, comparison loses its power and peace begins to grow. Your value has never been measured by how you compare to others. It does not rise when you succeed or fall when someone else does better. Your worth comes from belonging to God. That truth alone is enough to set your heart at rest. You do not need to compete, prove yourself, or earn significance. You already have it. From that place of security, God invites you to live generously. When you help others, do it with sincerity and a whole heart, not out of obligation, recognition, or reward. Even the smallest act, when done with love, carries eternal meaning. Serving others is not just kindness, it is worship. When you serve, you are serving God Himself. Generosity is not limited to money. It is found in your time, your attention, your patience, and your compassion. When you give freely, something remarkable happens. Your heart expands, joy deepens, purpose becomes clearer. You begin to sense God's presence in ways that cannot be explained by logic alone. The world often teaches you to hold tightly, to protect what you have, and give only when it is safe. God teaches the opposite. He invites you to open your hands, trusting that what you give will never leave you empty. Love multiplies when it is shared. Grace grows when it is extended. When your life becomes a gift to others, you discover a greater gift in return, a life filled with meaning, connection, and the quiet joy of walking closely with God. You were never meant to blend into the background. God placed His light within you for a reason, to reflect His love, His truth, and His grace in a world that often feels dark and uncertain. This light is not loud or forceful. It shines through your faith, your kindness, and your integrity, expressed in quiet and consistent ways. At times, you may feel tempted to hide that light. Fear of judgment, rejection, or misunderstanding can cause you to hold back who you truly are. But when you dim what God has placed inside you, the world loses something it desperately needs. Your light matters more than you realize. Shining does not mean being perfect. It means being honest. It means choosing compassion when it would be easier to turn away, choosing truth when it would be more comfortable to stay silent, and choosing grace even when circumstances are difficult. These choices may seem small, but they carry great power. When you allow your light to shine, you become a guide for others, sometimes without ever knowing it. Your words, your actions, and your example can offer hope to someone who feels lost, strength to someone who feels weak, and direction to someone searching for meaning. You do not need to force the light or make it brighter. Simply live faithfully, love sincerely, and walk with courage. As you do, God's light in you will naturally shine, and in that light, others will find their way. Fear will come. It is part of being human. It arrives quietly at times, and at other moments it feels overwhelming, shaking your confidence and clouding your vision. But fear does not have the final word. Faith is stronger. Even when fear feels loud, faith remains firm, reminding you of a greater truth. God is greater than every challenge you face. No obstacle is too large, no situation too complicated, and no moment too uncertain for Him. When fear tries to convince you that you are alone or unprepared, faith gently pulls your focus back to who God is, faithful, powerful, and present. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to trust God in the presence of it. It is standing steady when the ground feels unstable, believing that God is holding you even when you cannot feel His grip. Like an anchor in a storm, faith keeps you from being swept away by doubt and despair. There will be days when holding on feels difficult, when your strength feels small and your confidence weak. In those moments, remember that faith does not depend on your ability to be strong. It depends on God's unchanging strength. Even a small faith placed in Him is enough. Hold tightly to your faith. Return to it again and again. Let it remind you that storms pass, challenges shift, and God remains. Anchored in Him, you will not be shaken. Life itself is a gift, one that is often easy to overlook when days feel heavy and challenges seem unending. In difficult moments, it can feel as though joy is distant or out of reach. Yet even there, hidden beneath the weight of struggle, beauty, grace, and joy are still present, waiting to be noticed. Worry has a way of narrowing your vision. It pulls your attention toward what is missing, what might go wrong, or what has yet to be resolved. If left unchecked, it quietly steals joy from the present moment. But joy is not something circumstances get to decide. Joy is a choice, a posture of the heart. Choosing to rejoice does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means recognizing that God's goodness still exists alongside difficulty. It means allowing gratitude to shift your focus from fear to faith, from lack to abundance. Gratitude opens your eyes to small mercies, a breath of peace, a kind word, a moment of light in an ordinary day. When you practice gratitude, your heart begins to change. Anxiety loosens its grip. Hope grows stronger. What once felt overwhelming becomes lighter. You start to see life not only for its struggles, but for its sacred moments. Life will not always be easy, but it is always meaningful. Choose gratitude again and again. Choose to rejoice, not because everything is perfect, but because even in the midst of imperfection, God is present, and that changes everything. The way you treat others shapes not only the world around you, but also the condition of your own heart. God invites you to live by a simple yet powerful principle. Treat others the way you want to be treated, with kindness, respect, and genuine love. These choices, though often quiet and unseen, carry the power to bring light into places marked by hurt and division. Kindness softens hearts. Respect affirms dignity. Love creates space for understanding. When you choose to respond with grace instead of retaliation, you break cycles of bitterness and resentment. This way of living is not always easy, especially when others act unfairly or cause pain. But mercy is not about what someone deserves. It is about who you choose to become. Mercy means offering grace when withholding it would feel justified. It means choosing compassion over judgment, patience over anger, and forgiveness over offense. In doing so, you reflect the heart of God, who shows mercy freely and without measure. What many do not realize is that mercy heals both sides. It brings relief to those who receive it and freedom to those who give it. Holding on to grudges weighs the soul down, but releasing them opens the door to peace. When mercy flows through you, healing begins, within your heart and within the lives of others. Living mercifully does not make you weak, it makes you strong. It aligns your heart with God's and transforms everyday interactions into opportunities for grace, restoration, and lasting peace. The world around you can feel loud, unpredictable, and overwhelming. News changes by the hour, plans fall apart, and uncertainty seems to follow every step. In the midst of that chaos, it is easy to believe that peace is fragile, something that disappears when circumstances shift. But God's peace is different. It is not rooted in what is happening around you, but in who is walking with you. Following God does not mean life will suddenly become easy or free of struggle. Challenges will still come. Loss, disappointment, and unanswered questions may still find their way into your story. Yet within all of this, God offers a peace that remains steady when everything else feels unstable. This peace does not deny hardship, it carries you through it. It gives you the courage to keep moving forward when the path is difficult and the strength to stand firm when the ground feels uncertain. It reminds you that your life has meaning beyond comfort, beyond success, and beyond temporary outcomes. Walking with God shapes your heart. It teaches you to love deeply, to act with courage when fear whispers otherwise, and to hold on to hope even when circumstances suggest you should let go. Purpose grows in places where faith is tested, and character is formed in moments when perseverance feels costly. A meaningful life is not measured by ease, but by depth. And with God, even in a chaotic world, your life can be filled with love, courage, and hope that no circumstance can take away. You carry a story that no one else can tell. Your journey, your faith, and the love you have received were never meant to be kept to yourself. God has woven meaning into every chapter of your life, even the difficult ones. And through them, He has given you something powerful to share. You may feel unprepared at times. You may think you lack the right words or the confidence to speak about faith. But God does not ask for perfection. He asks for authenticity. Often, the most powerful message is not spoken. It is lived. Your patience in hardship, your kindness in ordinary moments, and your hope in uncertain times speak louder than words ever could. Living your faith does not mean having all the answers. It means walking with integrity, loving consistently, and choosing grace even when it is difficult. When others see peace in you during chaos, forgiveness where bitterness would be expected, or compassion where judgment would be easier, they begin to notice something different. Your life becomes an invitation. Through your actions, people catch glimpses of God's love, His mercy, and His faithfulness. You may never know how deeply your example impacts someone else, but God does. Do not underestimate the influence of a life lived with intention. As you walk faithfully, your story becomes a light, and through that light, others can see God, real, present, and alive in you. Once again, God speaks this truth over your life. You are never alone. No matter where you are, no matter what season you are walking through, His presence remains constant. When the road feels long, when strength fades, and when answers seem far away, God is still with you, faithful to the very end. There may be moments when you feel forgotten or disconnected, when silence feels louder than reassurance. But God's closeness does not depend on your awareness of Him. He walks beside you in every step, carrying you through moments you didn't think you would survive. His presence does not fade with time, and His love does not weaken with circumstance. Let these words settle deep within your heart. Allow them to comfort you when you feel weary, to guide you when you feel uncertain, and to challenge you when fear tries to hold you back. God's love is not temporary or conditional. It is deep, steady, and eternal. You are known fully and loved completely. Nothing you face is too much for God, and nothing in your past or future can separate you from His care. When doubts arise, return to this truth. When fear whispers, hold on to this promise. You do not walk this life alone. You never have, and you never will. God is with you, now, tomorrow, and forever, and His love will remain with you always.